We were on an operation called Pipestone Canyon. There was a large concentration of NVA. We'd been on this operation for a couple weeks, and the Army engineers had already come in and started clearing areas with bulldozers and stuff. But our platoon commanders called the squad leaders up and told me that he wanted me to take my squad and cross the river and see if I could find any of the enemy and if they were where they were coming across at nighttime. So I took my squad and we went down to the river, and as we crossed the river, I told them half of my squad I sent to the right and the other half I got on line, because when we crossed the river there was elephant grass. Well, elephant grass is just real tall grass, but it's very hard to move through, and I knew that there was a trail up ahead, and I felt that if we were on line moving through it, it would be better if we engaged the enemy. And the other half of the squad I sent around to be in like an L formation so that we would have them in a crossfire. And sure enough, as we approached the trail, there was a NVA patrol coming down the trail. So we got into a firefight. And during this firefight, this hand grenade landed at my feet. Now, you don't have too much time to make a decision before this thing goes off. And you can't, I had no cover to hide behind. I couldn't run fast enough to get away from it. I thought I had enough time to get rid of it. And when I bent over and got it in my hand, it went off. So all of the explosive force went to my legs, my arm, and my face, because those were the only things exposed. I had a flat jacket on and stuff protecting my chest. And it picked me up, and I remember it throwing me through the air. I remember hitting the ground. It all seemed like it was in slow motion, but it only took an instant. And when I hit the ground, I remember spitting out teeth. And in my mind, I was calling the corpsman. And the corpsman was on me almost immediately, working on me. I didn't know how bad I was. I knew I was hurt, but I couldn't see, so I didn't go into shock that way. And so I remember him working on me, and I remember the helicopter coming to pick me up. And they put me on the helicopter, and they all thought I had died because of how severe my wounds were, and plus the head injury. The head wound was the biggest concern of the corpsman, because without that, the rest of the wounds wouldn't have mattered. But I remember the flight back to the hospital. But when the helicopter landed, I went unconscious. And that was June the 22nd. I woke up in Philadelphia Naval Hospital in October. But I also found out that they kept me under because of the transportation and how far I had to travel and all that. But when I woke up, that was when I realized I was missing both legs and my arm. And I had a head injury because shrapnel had went into my head here, and so they had to cut my head open around here to get the shrapnel out. They don't let you have time to sit around and think about what happened to you. You're still in the Marine Corps in the Naval Hospital until they discharge you. So you still had to do stuff for yourself, even though you're missing things. You had to make your own bed, you had to take a shower and clean yourself up, eat your meal, and then you had to leave the ward. You weren't allowed to just sit around. I thought I was a very lucky person that I lived, that I had lost 3 limbs, I had a head injury, but that I could still think for myself and that I made it back. And that was the whole thing. It was making it back, no matter what happened to you. I feel very, very lucky that I was able to live through it. I wanted to do things in my life before I was hurt, but I wanted to do the same things after I was hurt. And at first, they kept telling me that I was going to be limited because of my situation and my disability. I said, but wait a minute, I don't want to be a ski instructor. I want my own business. I want to go to college. I want things in my life that I wanted before. And I don't think that what happened to me should make me not be able to have those things. And I also saw him, I said, and you're supposed to be there supporting me. But I never lost sight of that, of what it was up to me to be able to get these things. And I knew that I was in the hospital. I was going to be in the hospital a long time for my wounds to heal. But I went to the therapies and I learned how to do everything over again. And I didn't let it make me a different person than I was. I still love the Marine Corps. And I talk to my buddies all the time. I said, you know, if they'd let all of us ex-Marines go back in the Corps and go over to Iraq, it wouldn't be but a couple of weeks and we'd be out of there. But I don't think I was ever really bitter. I don't think it was someone else's fault that I got hurt. I knew what the story was going in. I knew that I had these possibilities, but I also knew I was not a different person after I got hurt. And I was very lucky. I did go to college. I met my wife at college. I was in the hospital 27 months. I should have only been in a year, but I came home on a weekend pass and I got hit by a car in my wheelchair and broke my right leg, what I have left of it. So I had to stay in and have 9 more operations to fix it. So I think I'm a very lucky person. But at the same time, I didn't let that stop me from pursuing what I wanted in my life. I mean, when I met my wife at college, we've been together now 33 and a half years. I don't know too many Vietnam veterans that their marriage has lasted that long. And not that there aren't some, but I mean, not that I'm better than anybody either, don't get me wrong. I'm not, but I enjoy my life. And I didn't let it change who I was, I don't think. I've always looked at it that I was very lucky to live because they taught me in boot camp that if I was that close to a hand grenade, that there was no way you were going to live, that it was just too powerful and it would kill you. Well, I proved that was wrong. But the fact that I lived through it and the fact that I could still think for myself made all the difference. Because at first when I woke up, I didn't remember things. I didn't remember my family, I didn't remember my girlfriend, I didn't remember a lot of things. I just always feel that I was a very lucky person that I woke up and that crying wasn't going to change what happened to me. And bitching wasn't going to change what happened to me. And I could still do what I wanted to do as far as I was concerned. I mean, I knew it was going to be down the road. It wasn't like jump up and like, let's go and start. But in all of the times since I've been hurt, I've done everything I've wanted to do. I met the woman that will probably be with the rest of my life. I hope to be. I'm just a very happy person.